serious about building the magazine now. So we are not at the point where we're actually going to build it, but what I want to do is work through a series of exercises, doing it exactly like we will when we're designing the magazine, so that when you're confronted with material for the magazine, nothing is new except for the material. The approaches that you take are all the same. You're using the same standards and all that. So the first thing we want to do is we go into this basics of text, and we're going to copy that in your learning the software folder or wherever it is in the year that you're currently doing it. So you right click and go to copy, or you hit Command C or Control C if you're a Windows person, and then you get into your staff folder and you paste the item, either Command V or Control V, or just right click and paste. So this sample PDF shows what the final product is supposed to look like. When you're done, yours should look like mine, because you're going to follow me step by step through this one. Later on, after we finish this one, I'll start giving you stuff and say, listen, you got to have a pull quote, you got to have this and this and this, and here's the material, but design it in any way that you want, so that you get that freedom and you're used to doing what you need to do. So check back with this frequently to make sure that what you've done looks like what I did. It shouldn't be that hard since we're following a video anyways. If your thing looks like mine in the video, you're okay. Okay, the first thing you've got to do is install fonts. One of the things that makes each magazine unique each year is that we download new fonts from online, and we use those as our key fonts. So in this font folder, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 fonts, and we're going to use those as our titles. To install them, it's really easy. You just double click, and then this little guy comes up and you click on install font. I'm not going to click there because I've already installed them on my computer. No need to do it twice. If it gives you any error messages, just kind of ignore them. Hopefully we will have vetted any fonts that we use so that they should be okay. There will be a slight problem with one of them, but it'll still make a PDF that works okay. So usually we're in good shape. All right, so pause it, install your fonts, and then we'll move on with starting to build the template. Okay, let's move on. So whenever you're building for the magazine, you'll have a template, usually that we set up with our font package and all that kind of stuff, so that most of the basics of the building are already taken care of, and you just have to get into the creative stuff. So let's open up this one and take a look at what we've got here. So here on the left, if you installed your fonts correctly, these should all show up with the words matching the font that they actually are. So that gives you kind of just a visual idea. Over here in this gray area, this is not part of the document itself. This is just stuff you can put like guides and notes and stuff. So on the left side, we put these guides that show you what our title fonts are. You get the 4 choices there. You can choose whatever size you want for your title font, but it's got to be one of these 4 titles. And then we'll do those through the character styles, which are in this panel here. You should be, if your view is looking different than mine, switch to advanced and hit reset advanced, and it should make all your panels in the right place. And that's kind of helpful because if I'm telling you what to do and you're like, but that button's not there, it could be there, just it's there by hitting reset advanced. So now if we look over on the other side, that's interesting. I keep putting the picas in here and they keep disappearing. So let's just, for now, I'm going to go back into mine. I've got my own master version of this, and I'm going to steal the picas from there. So this is the finished InDesign document. I'm going to switch from preview to normal, where I see all my guides. These are my little pica bricks here, and I literally made the video and then stopped, put the picas back in to the template, and then they went away again. So yeah, here we go. For the purposes of our video, it's there. Good. Close this out. Hit Command S to save. Oh, I know I didn't want to save because it's not actually in the document. Let's just put it in there for a second. Let's save. Okay. Picas are there. So these are pica bricks. They serve no actual function in your design. Like you'll never leave one of these things in there. But you will use them sometimes to measure the space between items. So for instance, your artist credits and author credits, that's what says who did whatever it is. those should be a pica away from the title or the piece. And you just drag one of these little pica things in between, zoom in nice and close. I'm doing a pinch zoom there, but you can also use your little thing. If you hit Option and zoom, you're going to zoom out. If you just click, you'll zoom in. You can also do like a scrubby zoom, where you hold down the button and go to the left or right to go in and out. Command 0 will bring you zoom out to just one page. Command Option 0 will center 2 pages on there. So fast ways to move around. And I go back to my select tool. So use these to measure. I'm just going to leave them there. I'm working in my folder, so we're good. So those are the pica bricks. Character styles menu, set your body font, artist credits, and pull quotes, and your titles, really. Then over here it says to work in normal mode. That's so that you can see all your guides and make sure that you're making something that's actually organized and not just a hodgepodge of stuff. Artist credits, we'll get to those in a little bit. We don't need to worry about them now, but these are your guides. So the very first thing we need to do is put in our text. And the text can be found back in this folder, basic text source. And we're just going to highlight the text. This is the boring part. So we just copy that, and we're going to leave it kind of in the background for now. I'm hitting Command Tab to switch between my things. So the first thing we're going to do is make our text columns. And what I want is a 4-column layout. I think columns are nice. And I'm going to go from margin to margin. I'm going to show you a trick here. So if you use the text tool, which you can access by hitting T or just clicking on it, and you drag and you keep holding the mouse down, if you hit the right arrow button on your keyboard, it now split that box evenly into 2 boxes. 1 box, 2 boxes. If you hit up, it should split you up and down, but maybe I'm moving the mouse too much. So anyways, we wanted 2 boxes. 2 boxes there, boom. So now I have 2 text boxes. If I hit Option and then drag it, what I'm going to do is make a copy of those 2 text boxes. So now I have perfect 4 columns across the document. So first thing I'm going to do, now what I'm going to do is I hit my T for text tool, or I just click there, and I'm going to click in here to be a text in the text box. And you can see my cursor comes up. I'm going to hit Command V to paste, or edit, paste. Oh, look at that. Okay. So right in here. So it went through these 2 columns automatically. So I must have, I think by doing the split like that, it made them thread. But if you'll notice, that's new. I hadn't known about that before. I learn new things every time. Down at the bottom, there's a tiny little plus. And what that means is that there's more text than can fit in the box. So here's what's cool about InDesign. You just click on that plus, and it loads your cursor again with the rest of the text, and you click into the next column. So what happened there is now if I say were to resize these boxes, like I want to make room for my title, which I'm going to, go down to there, it just pushes it automatically there. If it gets past this line, then that little plus will come up again, and you just click it and then go over there. And we'll probably get there in a little bit. So let's make some room for a title, because we're assuming we're probably going to want one. Little things like making sure your boxes line up are kind of important. There we go. I'm going to actually take the lady killer, and I'm going to Command X to cut it. And I'm going to put it in a new text box here. That's my title. And things that look different generally get their own boxes. I'm also going to give myself credit for it in a little bit, but I'm just going to leave that kind of here for now. Now, if we look at this versus this, there's 2 things that I notice. One is that this has indentations at the beginning of each paragraph, and when I copied and pasted, those went away. It's just one straight line, so we got to fix that. I also noticed there are italicized parts, and those are gone too. So we've got to fix those, and we've got to make sure that the font is correct. So first thing, let's do the font. That's the easy part. So I hit Command A to select all my text, and I go to character styles. And then these are cool because you can like apply, like if I wanted to make everything the title, that just happened. Don't ever do that. That's not cool. But body font, that's what we want, the body font there. And what that'll do is in this instance, I'm using Baskerville 12. And if you click on characters right there, it says Baskerville 12 size font. So whenever you click that body font, it'll automatically apply that font and that size. So that's a nice, easy way to get things going. Now, we want to start fixing our indents, right? I remember the lights, the dry heat, blah, blah, blah. And then I checked where was the next paragraph start. It was 2002. So I just click it and I hit tab. Dana was 22. Where's that? This part's pretty boring. I wish there were a way around this. We used to be able to just place Word documents, which would keep their formatting, but even that doesn't always work, and now we don't really have words. So maybe I shouldn't have tried so hard. That's the next one. And then that starts a new paragraph because it was just a one line. Things got a little problematic. I should have quit when I was ahead. And that one I'm actually going to give its own line altogether. Every once in a while I like a little white space. Make it just kind of stick out. So after one rotation, Dana must have noticed. That gets a tab. Stop the ride is the next one. That gets a tab. Just turn around to yell at our friends. Yeah. Point them out the side. Oh yeah, it's a new line altogether. And I don't, so drop it down. There we go. Thanks, Jesse. The best I could do was groan. Now instead of leaning into me, Dana, blah, blah, blah. Finally is one of those good paragraph starting words. Finally. Wow, that was fun because it's dialogue. After 5 more steps. And all this kind of stuff actually really matters. If somebody wrote it a certain way and then you changed it because you didn't feel like doing what they did, they get really mad. You're like, whatever, it's just schoolwork. But like, it's something that they worked on and they care. And people will be mad at us every year for little things that we didn't think were a big deal or didn't even notice. And there's no way around that. It just happens. That's just what happens when you're working with other people. But the more we can minimize it, the better. When I was finished, where's that? Oh yeah. Finally I gave up on walking. I was looking, there's 2 like when I was finished paragraphs. There were 2 5 more steps. Finally I gave up on walking. It was a security guard in a blue uniform. You can't be here. No, I'm good. I didn't throw up that night. Again that night. Good job, Warden. Moral of the story. And we'll give a little white space there because it's the end. Okay. So then the other thing is the italics. So let's go back up to the top. StarCraft, Age of Empires 2, there's a bunch of like video game titles from the early 2000s. So I click up here and I go to italic. You can't hit Command I because it does something totally different in this. Where's the next part? Bangor State Fair, everyone will be there. Bangor for the Bangor State Fair. Song lyrics. So, oops, see? I automatically start hitting Command I because I just, that's what I'm used to. So italic. Okay, now what? And I'm just hitting Command Tab to switch between the 2 documents that I'm using the most, the 2 things. If you just tap it once, it goes to the last thing that you had open. So since I'm going back and forth, it's very quick and easy to get. Hot, not spicy hot. Where was that? Chili fries. Something about chili fries. It's right after maybe I shouldn't have tried so hard. Okay. That word gets italicized. Thanks, Jesse. More italics. 5 more steps. Okay, good. So now the text looks like it did in the original document. So I can just close it out. I'm just going to hit save so that I know I'm in okay shape. So we'll do the title, and we'll do one pull quote, and then we'll call it a day. Okay. So title. Let's use character styles. Just because it's a cheesy fair, I'm going to do double bubble. Oh, it went away. Why? Because it's bloody big now, and the box is small. So if I go to fitting and fit frame to content, well, it fit it to one word. So let's just drag it out. Now the way I had it actually laid out was kind of big. And if I hit Command and Shift, when I resize, I think I showed you this last time, it resizes the words and the text and the box. Because otherwise what you'll do is it'll just resize the frame, see? But it doesn't change anything about the words. So it's like cropping kind of. So I'm going to take that frame back to where it is, and we'll bring it down. And I think in the original that I made, I had this centered. So if I highlight that, and I just noticed something when I went to the blue. When I went there, it's blue. So let's check out our layers. Yep, sure enough, I've been doing everything in my Pike as layer. So I'm going to drag the title up there, text frame. Where's this text frame? Did I make it? Sometimes you click something and you didn't think anything happened, but you actually made a box. So I'm just going to get rid of this text frame because it's just a phantom frame. I click the little eyeballs to make sure I see what I'm doing. So text frames. All right, then what I'm left with in the Pika thing is just horizontal Pika and vertical Pika. Images layer is empty because I don't have any pictures in here yet. Okay. So now let's try and clean this up a little bit. We've got this lady killer thing. We're going to go right. I'm just using the arrow keys to fine tune my alignment. Since we're centering in this box, if I just bring the sides of my frame out, it'll keep me nicely centered in my column. And then see these little guides here? Might as well just let's drag these down so they're aligned. And actually, I lied. Start this at the top of the frame. I don't like using space if I like at the tops of frames because then it makes it harder to line things up. I need space for my author credit. So let's bring this down a little bit more. That should be something comfortable. We'll align this. And then see, it just told me that's aligned. I'm like, all right, snap to it. Okay, so I wrote this. So I'm going to put another text box right in here. Sam Warden. You don't put by or anything like that. You just put the person's name. Character style, credits. It's exactly like the body font. It's just two points bigger. All right. So this, I think I had it right aligned with the R. So what I'm going to do is fit the frame to the content so that the frame is there. It's easier to line things up. And if you grab your ruler over here, you can drag an extra line right there. That'll make it much faster and easier so you're not eyeballing. And then did you see those two little arrows that are popping up to the right? They show that I'm perfectly centered between the top of my text and the bottom of my title there, which is good. Whenever you can find, oops, let's not grab that. Find those kinds of relationships, it makes your design much cleaner. And I'm just getting rid of this ruler because I don't need it anymore. Bye-bye. Okay. We are almost done. We're going to put one one pull quote in. What was the one maybe I shouldn't have tried so hard. I think that's what I used. So I'm going to use my text tool, and I'm going to copy it. And then I'm just going to make a little box outside, and I paste it in. Select all the text with Command A, go to Character Styles, pull quotes. Now, with a pull quote, you have to do something. We're going to fit the frame to the content so it's clean. Bring it in a little bit. And then I'm going to open up the text wrap window. Text wrap is really cool. What it does is when you click this button here, wrap around the bounding box, it's going to force any other words away from it. So then we don't want it to do right up next to it. I'm going to go right to one pica. So see how this little guy just expanded out there? That means that anything closer than a pica will get pushed away. So now if I drag this in, it sticks itself right in there. And I can just close the text wrap window. In fact, with the text wrap, I use that frequently enough that I often just drag that window down here so it's easier to get to. So then where would I want that? I can just center it. And this just a pull quote's job is to pull people in and make them want to read more. Oops. Sometimes it's a little hard if you're working with multiple things in the same layer to grab the one that you want. If you can't get it, go to your Layers menu. This is my pull quote here. If you click this little button here, it selects it, and then it's easier. Okay. So we've got a title, author credit, body font, and the pull quote. One last thing. We don't usually like hyphens, so I'm going to select all my text here. I'm going to go to the paragraph menu and unclick hyphenate. Just makes it a little easier to read. Okay, I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to export basics of text. Just to make sure I'm actually in my staff folder there. Basics of text, Worden text. So that says that it's my name, I did it, and it's the text thing. It's PDF. Now we want to say all pages, and we're going to export as spreads. What that does is it makes one document that's 2 pages wide instead of like 2 pages on top of each other. Hit export. Yeah, it doesn't like the double bubble font, but it'll work with it. It's fine. For our purposes, it's not going to be a big deal. So if you get that error, don't freak out. Go back to our Finder. Basics of text. Wordentext.pdf. You can open that up. That looks nice there. So there are some things that we're going to want to clean up later on, but that's the basics for this first exercise. Like for instance, this gap here, and there's a big gap there, but we're going to add some pictures and stuff, and we'll make that look cooler. We'll add some color. We're getting there.